everyone! In today's video I'm going to be talking about the National Reptile Zoo in Ireland, where I recently went for a visit. The National Reptile Zoo is Ireland's only dedicated reptile zoo. We have a reptile section in Dublin Zoo, and we have a couple of different big pet shops basically, and other zoos that have, say, reptile houses or reptile rooms, but this place is entirely reptiles and amphibians and some invertebrates. I haven't included every animal they have in the zoo, firstly because if you want to visit yourself, then at least you'll have something cool that you're not expecting, and also their animals kind of change depending on who's hibernating, who isn't, and who's off on breeding programs and who isn't, and so on and so forth. So it's just some of the animals that I saw that I thought were really interesting. First up, we have some frilled dragons. These guys I thought were really entertaining. They're just really, the one at the front was really chill, the rest of them not so much. But they're a type of lizard that they can spread out these skin flaps around their face so they look bigger and scarier so that predators will go away. They're just really cool, and when they're trying to run away from something, they run on their two little back legs. And when I was a kid, I found a video of them online, and I didn't have a lizard, and I was really interested in reptiles. And it was the funniest thing to me, and I don't know why. I must have made my mother play that about 1,000 times. Males have got much bigger heads than females, so I'm assuming at least one of the two in the background is a male. And they're from kind of Australia and New Guinea, in the grassy woodlands and the dry forests. And I just thought they were hilarious and adorable at the same time. This guy is a roughneck monitor. So these guys are one of the more elusive monitor species, and they've got the big keeled scales on the sides of their necks, hence roughneck. They've got really good big claws for climbing, and they're also really good swimmers. And so they like to be in trees or on land or in water, so they're kind of wherever they want to be. They're mainly from Southeast Asia in the rainforests and the mangroves. I thought this guy was just really beautiful, such a dark coloration, and I stood there for a solid 20 minutes. He's gorgeous. This fella is a carpet python, and they are gorgeous. He wasn't super active because they're nocturnal usually, so he during the day with the lights on, he was just kind of chilling in the corner. But he did look around as I was going past, and he is lovely. He was a lovely big size. He looked super healthy. I just thought he kind of looked like Noodle, my ball python, but way bigger. A lot bigger. And I think he was going into shed as well. His eyes were kind of glazed over, so he was beautiful, but a lot more after they shed. Then we had a lovely albino Burmese python, one of the longest species of snake in the world. She was pretending to be a cinnamon roll sitting at the bottom of the bottom underneath a tree there, and I thought she was gorgeous. Then we had a fire salamander. These guys have got bright colours to show that they're poisonous so that things don't try and hunt them and eat them. And they're mainly from Europe, in forests around water areas. I think they're adorable, but I will have to admit I very much like their neighbour who was beside them, which were the axolotls, because look at them. They're amazing. I love axolotls way too much. Axolotls are a critically endangered amphibian that are found only in one lake in the entire world, which is situated in Mexico. So they can regrow almost any part of their bodies. They've got cute little faces with little gills, and they come in many different colours, morphs, and I just think they're fantastic. I will at some point do a video solely on these guys, and you can find them in Minecraft, so that's a bonus. Here is a saltwater crocodile. They are found in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Northern Australia, and are the largest living crocodilian, getting up to 7 meters and 1,000 kilos or 160 stone. Big boys. This guy wasn't terribly big, but I wouldn't chance it. I can't swim. I'm staying out. Next up, we have some tortoises, specifically leopard tortoises. These guys are from southern and eastern Africa, some from the savanna and grasslands. They can live up to about 100 years old. This guy in particular was very active, just sort of wandering around the place, I suppose looking for food or something to do. And you can see in the back there, they've got a little sort of bristly brush thing so they can clean the top of their shell and scratch themselves, which I thought was brilliant enrichment. This was the first time I've ever seen a cayman lizard as an adult. I'd seen babies in the pet trade before, but I'd never actually seen a full-grown one, and they were gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see the big kind of ridges down the back that kind of look like a crocodile or a cayman, so that's where they get the name, and they are amazing. If any of you watch Snake Discovery on YouTube, which I highly recommend, they're amazing, you will see that they've actually recently gotten a baby one of these, and I cannot wait to see what theirs looks like. They're semi-aquatic, so they've got a pool with fish at the bottom. Go check it out, it's amazing. Here I spotted one of their boa constrictors having a sip from the bottom of their pool. It looks like there's very little water in it, but actually it goes down another step, so it is a fairly full pool. Just on camera it looks a bit weird. Boa constrictors are an amazing species of snake. I have one myself. His name is Gigi, and he is glorious. They've got wonderful markings and colourings. In boas you'll find some of them are called red-tailed boas, where they've got this amazing bright red coloured tail, and it kind of varies from like maroon to like a blood red, and they're just an overall super attractive, super pretty, big enough that they're able to be handled, but not so big that you'd be worried about them. Gorgeous type of snake. These guys are another that I very rarely see in the hobby. These are sailfin lizards, so they are absolutely gorgeous. They've got this massive sort of fin on the back of their tail that they use to swim really strongly through water, and it kind of looks like a sail on a boat, hence the name. And they are gorgeous. They like to be in trees, they like to be in the water. They're omnivorous, so they eat fruits and leaves and insects and kind of small animals and things. They are amazing. They're super unique, they're super just beautiful. They're really, really beautiful, but I don't actually know anyone that keeps them as a pet. I've only ever seen them online or in zoo environments such as this. This is another one that I stood there for about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes just looking at them, because again, I don't see them that often. You can see kind of here the finned tail on the back of the guy in the background, but they're so beautiful. They've such a dark head, they've such big claws and big tails, and I thought they were amazing. I just stood there staring at them for way too long. These are some of their monocled cobras. So the good news and bad news is these guys are very much used to people. That's good news because they were relaxed, they were chill, they did not seem in any way stressed out. The bad news is they didn't actually hood up at any point because they didn't feel like they were in danger. And I know that's a good thing, but there's part of you that's like, I'd love to see them hood up so you can really see with monocled cobras, they've got that white circle on the back of their hood, and they are amazing. I have a special place in my heart for the venomous snakes because I love them. I think they're beautiful. I think they are so unique and rare to find really in Ireland especially, but I know that I can't have any. I could have any. There's no laws saying I'm not allowed them. I just know that I shouldn't have them because I'm not equipped to deal with them. I do not have the training to deal with them, which is entirely unfortunate. But they are gorgeous. Even just their scales on their head, they had such massive scales across their head. I'd love to know what one felt like, but there's no way for me to know that, and I don't think breaking into the zoo and trying to pick one up is a good idea. My only other option is to go to South and Southeast Asia, but that is also not going to happen. So I just have to accept the fact that unless I somehow get someone with a dead cobra, I'm not going to be ever able to actually touch one and see what it feels like, which is very sad. And this is the big boy that many people have heard of before. This is the king cobra. Just look at him. Look at the scales. They just look so unique and amazing, and I already love him. These guys are the longest of all the venomous snakes, reaching about 5.5 meters or 18 feet. So that is massive. They are the king of the cobras. They are amazing. They are known mainly to feed on other snakes, which is why they're called king cobra. But they also eat other things like eggs and lizards and birds and rodents and such. An interesting fact that was written beside these guys is when they're threatened, they can lift the front third of their body up and then lunge to attack. But if you have an 18-foot snake, that is potentially a 6-foot tall snake sprinting at you, which I am not dealing with. These Roti Island snack-neck turtles are a lot more relaxed and less threatening. They just swim around the place. They are critically endangered in the wild because they're eaten locally and they're very popular in the pet trade, and they have very, very long necks, hence the name. This Cuban crocodile was not in the mood to be filmed and was just chilling in their little platform area in the back with their little snoot pointed up, and I thought they were great. At first I thought that leaf was a tiny umbrella and I was super excited, but it is just a leaf. This is one of their rhino iguanas, and she was not a happy camper at the time because someone had just been in to vacuum out the dirty water out of her big pool bowl in the corner there. And she tried to defend her territory, so they'd use a shield thing. It was pretty interesting to watch. I didn't film it just because I didn't want to be videoing people without permission, so I just didn't. But it was very interesting to watch, and she was definitely trying to eat the clear shield thing. These guys get their name from the horn-like projections on their head, and they are found only on the island of Hispaniola in the Caribbean. I may be mispronouncing that entirely, but it's only one little island and they are very cool and I think they're great. Then we had a crested gecko who, in typical crested gecko fashion, was very selfish and decided in all of this enclosure to hide right behind the one part that said not to bang on the glass and no flash photography. So I couldn't see him at all, just his little toes. Another one that I'd never seen in person before was the banded Fiji iguana. Now, when I saw the picture beside the tank, I saw the green and the blue bands. I was like, yeah, he's gonna be super easy to find. He was sitting right there in front of me, and it took me a solid 5 minutes to find him. He just wasn't moving, and I assumed he was leaves. Shockingly good camouflage, considering how obvious he is when you know where he is. Beside the Fiji iguana, there were some yellow banded poison dart frogs, and these guys were adorable. Again, I did not notice where they were for a minute or two, but I did find them faster than the Fiji iguana because I knew what size they were. These guys are adorable. They just look like little amphibian bees. I just think they're great. I don't know if I'll ever have some. I do really like them. I love the colours in dart frogs. I love the availability of dart frogs, but I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough currently to have some, but I'm hoping at some point in a year or two I may or may not get a few. Here are one of my dream lizards to own, but again I just do not know enough about actually keeping them because I don't know enough people who have them. The henkels leaftailed gecko. So these guys I believe are the same as mossy leaftailed geckos, but they're just amazing. Their camouflage is so amazing. They have these little folds of skin along their jawline and along their sides and their tail, so they can kind of smooth themselves out onto a branch, so they blend in really, really well. They've got very sticky feet, like a cresty but on steroids, and they are amazing. They are the perfect size for holding, but as a general rule they're not really a holding species, again because they jump very, very far and they're very, very sticky feeted and they try to escape everywhere, and they're really delicate. But they're also fine enough to land on a floor, so I don't know, they're just amazing, they're really cool, and I got to see one up close and I loved him. Then we had a green tree python who was just hanging out in the branches as they do. They are a gorgeous species, they're so brightly coloured and they're just an amazing display animal. They're one of the first snakes that looks up that you will find online, if you Google green snake or pretty snake and so forth. They're just absolutely gorgeous. And their babies are usually red and yellow and then they become green when they're closer to adulthood. It's great. In here we had two Asian water monitors. There was actually two separate enclosures, but sort of a trapdoor between them had been lifted because if I remember correctly, they're hoping these two will breed. That's the male in the back and the female in the front. They are huge. They're the second biggest lizard after the Komodo dragon. Sorry, heaviest, not biggest. They are absolutely gorgeous, and the male in the back, his name is apparently Bam Bam. The largest enclosure by far belongs to the two American alligators. So there's a male and a female in there. They are being used for breeding purposes as far as I remember again. The zoo is very into conservation and making sure that species survive and contact with other zoos and conservation projects and such. This enclosure was massive. I loved it. I thought it was great. The alligators were not moving around much because the temperatures of the water were still very cold because it's only springtime, so it's only starting to warm up. I believe, was it 2 weeks after I left, 2 weeks after this video was taken, they were going around the place moving because their temperatures had gone up quite a bit. So I'm very jealous and I'm going to have to go back at some point when they're actually active because they are very impressive. By far my favourite animal in the entire place was the green mamba. the eastern green mamba, just look at it. Look at the colours. It's so sleek. It's up in the trees a lot of the time. Its scales look amazing. They look so smooth. I need to pet a green mamba at some point, but it's not going to happen. So I'm just going to be sad. But they are gorgeous. I could not get over it. I easily stood at this enclosure about half an hour total, if not more. I came back 3 times. Genuinely the most beautiful animal I've ever seen in my life, and if anything ever tops it, I would be shocked and also very happy, because obviously beautiful animal. But this, oh, I could not get over it. I think I texted everyone in my contacts going, look at this snake, look how amazing it is. This is one of their other monocled cobras, but they're entirely white, so that was very interesting to see. Again, fairly chill, just kind of sitting in the back, did not hood up and didn't move much at all, but just was still absolutely gorgeous to look at. I am not in the least bit knowledgeable about morphs when it comes to venomous species, so I don't know if this is classed as albino or another name entirely, but it was absolutely gorgeous to look at and definitely would not have survived very long in the wild. We then had a western barred spitting cobra, which is amazing again, was very, very beautiful in person. The camera does not do it justice. I'm getting a new phone soon, so I will be able to do better videos and pictures, so I might just go back and take about 1,000 pictures of the green mamba and like 2 or 3 of everything else. This snake was just amazing. I'm sticking this frilled dragon here as a trigger warning because I know some people aren't a fan of creepy crawlies, arachnids and invertebrates and such. I got to hold a scorpion, so I stuck a picture at the very end of me holding the scorpion because I thought he was really cool. I thought she was really cool. But yeah, no, if you've watched this far, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will do my absolute best to help. And yeah, no, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. And here is the cool scorpion I got to hold. And she was in the middle of eating a cricket, so you can see the cricket still in her mouth. And she was glorious. I need a scorpion at some point. But again, I don't know enough about them, so I cannot have any at the moment. But someday. So yeah, that's it for this video, and thank you very much for watching.